Not much to say, just disappointed in the way we coached and played today. But give credit to Army. Coach Monk and his players were well prepared and outplayed us, outcoached us.
Coach, that's all? Okay. Coach, third quarter down, I believe it was 49-7 on Army's 30. The choice to punt. What was the reasoning for going with that punt instead of trying to go
4th and 20. I believe it was. Maybe even a little bit more.
So, Coach, with Ed Oliver sitting out of the bowl game, how hard was it making defensive adjustments for your defensive line to try and stop the run?
Yeah, I think it, I love Ed to death, but there was more issues than just missing Ed. It was, they did give credit to Army. I don't want to sit here and talk about, injuries and things like that. Give credit to people who executed, prepared their team well, and won the football game.
What do you think about the game that Hopkins had, and how was he able to run that offense?
They just executed flawlessly. I don't think they had, maybe one time they had ball exchange issues, and I'm not sure if that was him before. It was in there at that time. But just executed really well, get the good rhythm. Was good with ball security and all of his mechanics and exchanges. And then when he was asked to throw, he put it where it needed to be.
Coach, I know there's going to be a lot of focus on the negatives of what went wrong today, but what could you take away positively that you talked with your team afterwards with?
Just talking to those guys, I just told them 3 things in the locker room. Thank you. Even though it's disappointing and loss, thank you. Number 2, take care of yourself over the break. This is a time period where everybody's on winter break and it's college kids, and just make sure you understand that you got to represent Houston, but also the name on the back of your jersey lasts a lot longer. So make sure you take care of yourself over the break, do the right thing, and then come back in shape. And come back in January, and we're going to set the ball down again and go through off season and come back in shape with those 3 things.
Coach, Ken Kreitz, American Legion Radio. Why was Army's aggressive defense, they were getting penetration? Nautical had a couple of plays, Ken Brinson had a couple of plays from outside linebacker. Why was it tough to stop their linebacker penetrating, blitzing?
Well, it was a number of things, but give credit to them for being aggressive like that. Young quarterback, tempo offense. You're playing on momentum as a tempo offense, and so when you create pressure, whether it's from safety blitzes or corner blitzes, those are things that can create negative yardage plays or 2nd and 10 again. And I thought they did an outstanding job of calling the game defensively and keeping us off balance.
Major, you never used injuries this season as an excuse, but when it came down to it and just the things that happened with this defense this year, can you put your finger on where it went wrong or where it fell apart?
Yeah, I look back at the Texas Tech game, when everybody was there, when everybody was available and everybody was healthy, and we go out to Lubbock and take a hard loss. But give up a lot defensively. At that point in time, it hits your psyche, and you can go back and you can play some other teams and have some relative success, but you know that's still lurking in the back of your mind. And then you couple that kind of a little bit of doubt in yourself as a got to be able to execute the confidence you need to have as a competitor. You have that little bit of doubt in the back of your mind, and then that kind of gets compounded with injuries.
Steve, go ahead.
It'll be a while. It'll take a few days before you really evaluate the season as a whole. But when you look back, just immediately, you were 7-1. Is it hard for you to imagine that it finished like this?
Yeah, that's the hardest part to swallow. You're 7-1. You just beat a ranked team at home by 21 points, and you're getting ready to move on for competing for conference play, and then you just go through a slew of injuries, and that's difficult. But we were still able to win a game in that stretch, to take it all the way down to the last game to possibly make the conference championship game, and then you tie it up to start the 4th quarter there in Memphis. Again, I'm proud of the way our guys fought. I'm not proud of losing the games at the end of the season the way we lost them. But I'm proud of the guys that were thrown in there that weren't quite ready or hadn't had a spring practice in the fall camp to develop. I'm proud of the way they fought their tails off, and that's what we've got to draw on when we come back in January. Some of those guys did get some live experience. They do have a benchmark, a measurement of where they need to improve during the offseason. They're not standing over there holding their helmet as a red shirt, wondering what it's like to be in a game. They've been in a game. So they'll attack the weight room and offseason differently with that experience on the field.
question.
Andrew, as you go into the off-season, it's not a typical off-season in terms of, you've got some stuff that are front and center, hiring a defensive coordinator, possible other things, recruiting. But for you personally, how do you take going into, for your year 3 and where it starts for you and how to, maybe get over that hump for the first 2 years?
No, I think you're exactly right. It's just, what are those things after the 18th season? You obviously have to have depth because we had to dig into it. But all that stuff really starts in terms of the type of staff you assemble, the type of players you bring in recruiting. So recruiting coaches and recruiting players is our first priority when I leave here. It's press conferences. It's finding the right coaches and the right players to join our football team. And then obviously you have this time period where the players are away and you have time to look at off season. Look at the things that you need to stress as a football team to get better and to win those games. I mean, if we're all healthy, do you still win them all? You still got to evaluate it from that standpoint. As if everybody was out there, was that a guarantee that we're going to win all the games, or the things that we needed to fix in there regardless?
When you do look at what you, for instance, on defensive coordinator, obviously when you got here and you assembled your staff, that was the kind of the first big moves you had made as a head coach. Do you look at now hiring a defensive coordinator? Is this, I don't know how to put it, in terms of how important it is to get that right guy, coming off of a season that many people, including your fan base, weren't real happy with how things turned out defensively?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's about finding the right personality, Joe. There's a lot of, and I'm not trying to sound flippant about it, there's a lot of people that can coach cover 3 and quarters and cover 2 and, bring 2-4 off the side. I mean, there's a lot of people that can do that, but it's the guys that can create relationships and inspire young men and keep them motivated on a daily basis. That's really what more or less I'm looking at. Not is he a 3-man front or a 4-man front, is he playing man or zone, but can you get between the ears with every single player on the defensive side of the ball and find the best in them and coach the best out of them.
Time for 1 or 2 more here.
Coach, can you comment on just Ed Oliver's tenure at Houston? Is he the most talented player you've ever coached as well?
It doesn't take long to get to Ed if he's not the most talented player that I've ever been around as a coach. But his impact on our university, we said it before, it gives testimony to guys that are 5-star athletes and, all those things that recruiting services give, that you can come here, make All-American, win national awards, and still get drafted in the first round. And so his impact on our university is huge, and he's been great to be around. He's got a great personality. I know y'all don't see that on a daily basis, but I see it, or I've seen it every day for the last 3 years. And he's going to have a lot of success because he's one who likes challenges. And I'm not going to say he was bored or this game was too easy for him, but I think he's a guy who will embrace the challenges in the NFL and do damn well at it.
Andrew, you had mentioned earlier, you gave credit to Army for what they did in the game, but from an offensive year-end offense, score 14 points, do you attribute that, you went through a lot late in the year with losing De'Eric, having Clayton just making the second start. And a lot of that, is that the main factor you think in terms of you guys only scoring 14 points that you just didn't have?
Yeah, I think it's a combination, a combination of some of the personnel issues, but I'm not going to take credit away from guys who, work their ass off, prepare hard and do a great job and won 11 games. That wasn't luck. I mean, those are good football players with good coaches. They prepared hard to win the game, but some of the lack of experience in key positions or injuries or guys who missed part of the season contributes to that as well.